What's up, guys? It's your friendly neighborhood Hanzo, back with the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Val video. And today we're going to be taking on the Super 2 difficulty of Boss Rush 1, which contains both the first 5 bosses from the first episode, which you guys should definitely check out if you have time, and the next 5 bosses I'm going to show to you now. So this is the second episode in a hopefully long series that contains all of the Boss Rush episodes. I'm going to be walking you through each of the Boss Rush stages. They shouldn't be too difficult considering the quality of teams we have, but just to kind of have a throwback and look back at the different eras of Dokkan and see how far the game has come. I think it's going to be a really interesting look to both hopefully for you guys and for me to go back and look through at all the characters that have been relevant in the metagame at some point. Yeah, we're going to take on the first stage here. I believe this is the Super Gogeta stage. So first it's just Goku and Vegeta. And just for reference, this team I'm using here is the final trump card team. It uses the Tech Vegeta that transforms into Super Saiyan Blue as the leader. And it's honestly a team that I don't think gets too much of a spotlight, so I just wanted to highlight it here. We're going to start off with Cooler here in the first slot. And yeah, this, if you guys don't know, this Super Gogeta unit that came out was probably the strongest unit in the game for quite a long time. And he made it so much easier to clear difficult Dokkan events because of his passive that allowed him to be super effective against all types. So that just made him essential on basically every team because he had both a leader skill that provided ki and attack for Rainbow, which means for all types, and he was strong in his own right, being able to take on any kind of enemy. So he was pretty much the best unit in the game for a long time until we got AGL Super Vegeta, who we will get to in a later episode of the series, and I'll talk about him in depth then. But just so you understand how strong of a unit Gogeta was, Dokkan events before this were pretty difficult to take on, and you had to have pretty specific teams to counter each boss's mechanic. Like for example, Majin Buu had the candy mechanic, so if you wanted to restore health with candy and use them as ki, you had to have specific passes for that. Or, for example, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly and his Rampage. If you wanted to disable his Rampage and get through his tough defense, you'd have to have a specific link skill and even a passive ability that would help you with that. But after Super Vegeta came out, it became a lot easier to clear those events and build up stronger teams. Alright, I'm just going to start here with Frieza. I think this is the final form Frieza event. I just want to show off his Ultra Super because I think it's pretty cool. And Cooler here is a pretty strong unit. He came out a little while ago, but he is a very valuable unit for many different categories, like this category: Final Trump Card, Terrifying Conquerors, Wicked Bloodline, Transformation Boost. There's probably plenty more I can't remember, but he is a very useful unit. So if you have him, I would definitely recommend that you Dokkan Awaken him and put him on as many teams as you can. Alright, this is the kind of annoying thing about the Frieza event. He does a slot lock on all of your units, so that means you can't move them left to right. As you can see here, I'm trying to, but it's not working. So we're just going to have to roll with that. I think it should be fine for purposes of this video, but definitely when it came out, it was a really annoying mechanic because it would mess up your rotations and make it hard for you to get enough ki to super attack and actually do enough damage. But here with these more modern units, we should be fine despite the type disadvantage here with Vegeta. Yep, looks like it's fine. And now, final form Frieza. So, fun fact, one of my friends actually, this was the first unit he ever Dokkan Awakened, and that was because of, surprise surprise, Super Gogeta. Final Form Frieza was a really strong unit for a long time, because of his, I think it was attack plus 120%, performing a super attack, which was pretty remarkable considering that most of the stat boosts that were present in Dokkan upon his release were flat and not percentage based. So he became more and more relevant, continued to be relevant way after he came out, because he wasn't just a flat like, oh, attack plus 3,000 or attack plus 10,000. His stat increase scaled with the leader skills in the game, which eventually became percentage based with the type leaders and eventually category leaders that would come out later. Now we're on the Ultimate Gohan stage. I'm just going to keep this rotation, I guess. It doesn't really make a big difference. And Ultimate Gohan, for me, was a really weird unit. I remember when he came out, his passive was really interesting because it allowed him to super attack early, and especially in an era of Dokkan when ki and the ki generation was not that prevalent, I think it was really useful to have a unit, especially a Dokkan Fest one that could super attack early and help you even when your team composition and your team setup wasn't conducive to always having maximum ki like it is now. You could always basically have a super attack on one of your strongest units. So I think that made Ultimate Gohan pretty useful when he initially came out. He definitely lost a lot of his relevance, I would say, after that initial period of the first few Dokkan events, because he didn't get enough of a stat boost. It was a flat boost, I believe, and his link skills weren't really good because Ultimate Gohan often has difficulty linking with other units that are not other Ultimate Gohans or Kibito Kais. They're very niche units. Yeah, as you can see here, we're on the Into Ultimate Gohan stage, and I don't know, I always liked his art and his design, but just from a usability standpoint, I never really liked him too much. I think that kind of sticks with the other Ultimate Gohans that would later come out, like the World Tournament Tech one, the AGL and Physical ones that both got good kind of awakenings, I believe, with the STR Ultimate Gohan, the category leader for Hybrid Saiyans. And honestly, he was kind of a disappointing unit for me, just because I expected him to do a lot more, and all he really does is raise defense and acts as support for his own category, so that's why I think Hybrid Saiyans never really took off. Alright, now here we're on to actually one of my favorite units, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And back in the day, he was a pretty strong tank, and he could tank through basically any Dokkan event as long as you weren't with type disadvantage. That would be a problem for him. But I think he was really useful for me when I was learning Super Strength, which we'll get to in a later episode, talking about Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the advent of type teams. But Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta really helped me get through some difficult times of taking damage from type advantage or just surviving through long and difficult Dokkan events. And also his ability to stun with his passive and his super attack really made him a valuable asset. I'm not really too sure how he's doing now on JP, or if his EZA has been a big help, but I'm sure that considering the strength of all the EZAs, or for the most part, most of them, he will be a pretty decent unit to use on whatever categories or whatever type teams you want to run him on. I think that EZAs are a great mechanic, speaking of EZAs, just because they allow old units to be relevant once again. The issue, I think, especially with Dokkan, is that they tend to focus on the same few characters and give those characters EZAs, and it becomes kind of difficult, like, oh, do I want to run this Goku or this new EZA Goku? As opposed to, let's say, introducing units that are less common, don't have many shared units of the same name, and thus can, like, be productive on, like, multiple teams, and you don't have to, like, sacrifice your team compositions to run a new unit. And that's kind of where Beerus is at right now. There's this Beerus to Tech Beerus, there's the STR Beerus. I don't think he's the same name, but he's still a Beerus nevertheless. The Physical Beerus, am I missing one? There's an Into Beerus. Yeah, so none of the Beeruses were particularly strong when they came out. I remember Tech Beerus is pretty bad just because there wasn't much flexibility in team building at the time, and he didn't have any partners with link skills. And nowadays, he's kind of in a similar situation, just because the characters that do share links with him are basically him and Whis, and neither of those units are particularly strong or have any real representation in Dokkan, so that's kind of problematic. Alright, here's an interesting mechanic. Let's talk about Beerus' Fury meter. So I believe every time he takes damage, the meter goes up and up, and eventually he explodes and becomes super angry and does a bunch more damage and tanks better. But ideally, we should be able to kill him before he gets to that Fury meter. So I'm going to do it this way, I think. Yeah, definitely guys, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and send a comment in the comment section below about what kind of videos you guys would like us to make, and what kinds of teams you would like me to use specifically on Boss Rush. I think I could do a lot of good by just going through my box and digging through all these old units I probably haven't touched in years and putting them on a team, so I think that'd be a lot of fun for me, and if you guys like that, just drop it in the comment section below. Alright, so that's it for Beerus here. Thankfully he didn't go into his Fury mode, that would have been bad. Let's see if we got any more Dokkan events. We do not, so thanks for watching guys, that's the end of this Boss Rush stage. Keep watching to see what the next stage will be. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.